I'm going to begin. So, welcome those who are here, and we welcome you to the Great American Detox. We will unravel the experience together. And as I said in one of the videos, if you saw it, this is not your typical detox, number one. Number two, I also said whether there's two or three, it will be an experience because you only need two in agreement to access a larger field, a larger network. We had, I think Kayla said 33 sign up, but we're the ones who are here now. So some people might drop by. Um, why now? What's going on? Well, I would simply state that the Great American Detox is about each one of us. It is what we're experiencing and what Rebecca and Kayla and I um, will provide is a space for whoever is shown up and does this work for the next 7 weeks. We actually start tomorrow. Um, that you have an experience, that you actually have an experience that makes the change that you target. If when that happens at a mental and heartfelt level, and it's manifested through the body in some way that actually makes the shift, and you'll see what we mean. We'll develop a little context today. Um, makes that fundamental personal change at a cellular level because there's action taken on whatever the step is. That then ripples out and makes a difference in the world. I'm sure you've heard where we go one, we go all. There's a lot more power in that statement than typically realized. So I'm grateful for whoever is here. Um, and I'm going to welcome Rebecca to give some logistics and kind of set the context or the content of the day, like where are we going today? What are we doing on this first day? So grateful that you're all here.
Yes, and actually what I think we'll do because of the size of the group, I had all these breakouts planned, but I what I think is so beautiful is that who showed up was supposed to be here, so we can be a little more loose with the sharing and have like a little more luxury of time. So that's I'm actually thrilled about that. So it's not like hustling everybody all over the place. Um, and what I just asked you to do is bring the truth of yourself. You do not have to, this is not a place of doing it right. This is an experience we're creating together. And I think part of together, what's so important for me about that is we called this space the vibrational arc. And on the vibrational arc, there are no passive passengers. So you're both constructing the arc as you hold space for someone else while you're also being held. So you're both holding and being held at the same time. And that's the magic of coming together. And what one person shares is going to especially if it's something that resonates with you, is just going to amplify the whole experience for everyone. So I welcome you. So what we'll go through today, if you came equipped with your intention for the cleanse, that's really the heart and soul of all this. Where you are, what's your next iteration? And so if you have that totally formulated, amazing. If you don't, we're kind of going to go through opening those doors today. So by tomorrow, you have at least one, it doesn't need to be super focused, but the first sip that you'll take in the detox will be that whatever inspiration that may come through today and that you'll continue to cultivate as we grow this whole thing together. And what I invite you to do at this time is share who you are and why you're here, what drew you here. And you can just kind of unmute yourself and we can just go around when you're ready to share. Or I can put you on the spot. either way.
Well, I'll
Sorry.
model it. I'll just go first because it's group participation. Um, what drew me here was the compulsion for me to step out of a comfort zone and, and create a group that I can share vision of what's going on through me and with me, and do that in a group context. And so that was, more of a compulsion. It wasn't all formulated. It's been developing for a while. Um, and I'm grateful to be here. And so I'm in. I'm in.
Thank you.
Sure. I'm here because I'm excited to start a new daily practice. I think I'm trying to be more intentional in my life every day, and I am starting a new job next week. So there's a lot of transformation with that, and I'm trying to be the best version of myself, and do things differently, step out of my comfort zone and try things that I haven't tried before.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm here. One of the reasons I was drawn here is for connection, to connect with old friends and some new friends around setting intention in my life was the invitation, and that felt interesting. So I wanted to come check it out and be part of that.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yeah.
I'm here because I've been working very closely with Lenny the last 8 to 10 weeks on a long-term chronic health issue. And the word detox is like right up there in my wheelhouse now. Um, and I'm curious to see how this goes. Drinking a glass of water is definitely part of my everyday. But let me put some meaning to it.
Thank you. Dennis, you're
Think
still
you're on
muted.
mute.
There
Sorry
you go.
about that. I thought I hit the button. I'm a little I don't know, I have fat fingers, I suppose. So anyway, I retired a couple of years ago. I'm not really feeling a sense of purpose or focus right now. I was a teacher and I got a lot of enjoyment out of the job. There's a lot wrong with it too. I mean, a lot more than I think most adults can possibly imagine. And there was a sense of kind of almost crisis, I think, at the end of it, about how badly off the rails the system was and how disaffected I was feeling. Not from the actual job, but from the circumstances surrounding it. And I'm a pretty open-minded guy. I've known Lenny for a while, and I find his take on the universe pretty interesting. And I figured I'd come here and be open-minded and see what what speaks to me. So.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kayla. I've been working with Dr. Izzo for over a year. I don't even know how long it's been now, but he's certainly transformed me. I've had a lot of health issues over the years and since COVID, and I had a major surgery a few years back, and it's just been really hard. And he's taught me so much personal power. And it gets me emotional because I'm so grateful to him and I'm excited for everybody to join. And personally, I have been doing this water blasting myself and I've noticed profound change, but I have nothing but gratitude to you both for starting this. So I'm excited for everybody.
Thank you so much. You're a part of the team for sure.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan. I was led here by divine inspiration and guidance, and my intention, well, part of my intentions and to join were to push myself beyond my threshold of comfort and to step outside of how I've limited myself and to step into a greater version of myself.
Amazing. Thank you.
Welcome, Megan. I'm not sure where Ray went. You're next, Rebecca.
Yeah, so for a while now, I have felt that new version. Like first, it was like a tickle at the edges, and then it started to get louder, and now I almost feel like clawing at me, where something definitely needs to emerge that either I have subconsciously pushed down, or I can just feel like the thing coming out from inside my skin and shedding the old skin. So I am here with a very open heart and a great desire to really focus on that bigger self, unapologetically. And I'm in with that.
All right. So Raymond is there and Carol, but I'm going to go forward. I just want to try to put him on mute. So Rebecca and I had 33 people coming to the party, and we are the ones. What's unique about this is we got plenty of food. And it's what each of us brings. I discovered years ago. I remember the first time I started a Wednesday night life lecture series in 1989, and I'd sent out 100 invitations, and the two people that showed up were the two receptionists in my office. And what I discovered then, experienced, was just let it, that whether there's two or one or 30, it's whoever shows up, because we each have a unique network vibrationally that we're connected with. We are, and that's one of the themes here. It's not in numbers today, it's in the concentration of my truth. It's in the concentration of our truth. And that's not always easy to discover, especially in a day like today, this moment. What's really true and what's the lie? What's not true? What do I need to let go of? How do I do it? So this is part of the context. And like right now, I know Rebecca and I are shifting. We took our menu and we put it aside. So let's spend just a few minutes before I get to the slides to develop this context, because today is a foundational day, right? The official initiation point is tomorrow, May 17th. And May 17th is when the country is, whoever's participating, whoever's aware, has been invited into prayer, whatever prayer is for each individual, which will end on this July 4th. And that's our timeline. And it will give you plenty of time. You follow the menu that we've created, and like Mike said about just have a different ritual. We're going to provide today a very simple ritual that will work. So we've got a context piece. We were going to do breakout rooms. You think we need them? No,
Kind of love that.
need any breakout rooms, right? And now, so we'll all share what we all share here today in one space, and even this is symbolic. It's life is mystery, and in that moment, it's moving with whatever is appearing, and that's also part of what this is about. However, we want to anchor whatever change is moving through you into that place that is that genius within, so that at the end of these 7 weeks, there's an aspect of yourself that actually is leading you forward to the next step, whatever that is, right? And I believe that the way this is set up, that experience will happen if when you follow the simple instructions, directions, or lead. Rebecca, you want to add to
Yeah,
that?
I guess one of the things I would like to add is I really believe that our intentions and all of what we hope for, and all that we think about is important and certainly part of it. But if you can't anchor it in your body and you can't kind of listen in, first of all, to notice the resistance that will come up. I don't want to check in. Um, or I don't have my bottle. Like, this is not about being perfect. This is about just sticking with the path. So, what I would recommend is as you feel your way through this, even if it's not clear, that you check in with what's being moved within you. I think that when you lock it in your body and when you can start to create that alignment between your body, and then we'll talk about your heart and everything else, but if you can start to feel that inside, that's where those cellular changes begin. And once your cells know, okay, we're on our way to change, that's when everything starts to line up and you do change. So it's this, and as we'll talk about, there's more than one level of change that's going on here. We're all a fractal piece of our world. So whatever changes you make are also being echoed by what's out there. You feel a little bit chaotic? Well, there's lots of examples of that outside yourself. So I just invite you to keep checking in with what you're feeling within, and even not just your emotions, but like, do you have a rumble? Do you have a space of tension? Just pay attention and allow it all and invite it all.
Ray, we all checked in. The check-in is what drew you here. So I invite you to check in with what drew you here today.
That's for you, Ray.
Ray, can you hear me? Are you hearing me, Ray? Probably, maybe not. Okay, so we're going to change the format just a bit because we're ahead of schedule, right? The secret sauce of how this will work and why it works is, here's my glass bottle. Now, I came up early this morning, with 3 power words based on what I'm tracking, right? What's the challenge in front of me? What do I need? What do I ask for? And it didn't just appear this morning. I've been thinking about this. And so we're initiating this question for you. And you'll see when we go through the context today that information will begin to appear in your own consciousness. And that's why we're asking you to pay attention. And someone did anybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca? Somebody
Mhm.
just came on board?
Mm-hmm.
Let them in?
Mm-hmm.
So paying attention, we're inviting you to pay attention in a more vigilant way than you have up to this point. Doesn't mean you're not self-reflective, but right now I'm asking you, what does it take to actually pay attention deeper to the message that's coming through from that divine spark, that genius within, the God self within? What's that message?
And so he just started looking at pictures and videos of her.
Okay. So welcome. So here is the secret sauce. You'll, by tomorrow, or certainly by Wednesday night, there's no rush on it, but as you start paying attention to it, you will get a message as to what the power word is, that is what you both want and what you both have within, right? I think it was in the book of Thomas from the um, uh, Gnostic teachings is um, when you bring forth that which is in you, that will save you. When you don't bring forth that which is in you, it could destroy you. I'm paraphrasing. Don't get alarmed. But the point is that the genius within you, there's a power within all of us that's yet to be actualized. And that's one of the contents here. And so your intention just needs to get a piece of that. And yet you're going to take an index card and put it right on the bottle. And Rebecca and I are going to make up a slideshow, which will show you how the Professor Emoto demonstrated how words imprint water. So once your intention is on there, and we'll review this again as we go forward in our first meeting Wednesday night, you're sipping the frequency that's in that water, which is imprinting and impacting my own cellular body. Now, I've done this over the years. It's one of the most powerful cleanses that I've done with people because of the continuity of doing this every day. You got to sip that water every day. So that's one ritual. And we're going to support you to get to that. What's the context for how I come up with my power words? We'll support you to do that today.
Yeah. And one of the things that I did provide, if you had a chance to look at it, is a good way to get like a jump start is the PDF that's clickable within the initiation email is basically just a giant list of adjectives. And what I suggest is as you scan it, whatever resonates, just circle it. And then as you kind of come down, you'll find that some are synonyms. And as you come down, just hearing those different kind of viewpoints and perceptions of kind of like where you feel the most drawn to, or really what captures the essence of really where you want to get to as we start to build that bridge from one frame to the next. It just scanning that list just might trigger something in you. So that can be a tool to kind of start to kind of rein in, or you might see something that you don't want. And so that's a message too.
Right. So I'm going to show 4 slides that we make, which will fill out this context. And then we're going to open it up to some comments, some questions, some discussion, because we have a concentrated enough of a community here where we can do that. We don't have to use breakout rooms. So give me a moment to share. Okay, slideshow from the beginning. No. So here's the simple, I'm sure most of you have come across this, right? The world's problems cannot be solved from the same
Your
level
screen is not showing, Lenny.
My screen's not showing.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Let me show it then. Share. Come back here. Share. All right. Now you see it?
I do.
Okay. Here you go. You see it?
Yep.
Okay. Simple truth. We can't make the changes we're looking for from the same reality that we're in, whether you feel stuck in it, whether you feel comfortable in it, whether you're in between both of those. You know, I'm comfortable and I still feel stuck. So it's been said so many ways, right? My life begins on the outside of my comfort zone. So however you see that, we're inviting you to get in touch with that frame. And Rebecca will have a little bit more to say on that when I go through these slides, because I can only get to where I'm going from where I am. I can't jump there. I can only step off of the reality I'm in. So, what's the reality that we're actually in? Well, here's a slide that is, I'm not sure how much of it you can see. It's a little bit cut off on my computer. But what you see on the left here, this is the alignment that happened. Here's the cosmic piece. Here's the alignment that happened in 2012. In 2012, December 21st, 2012, I was in the dark night of my soul personally. It was truly the darkest night. I had just left a 36-year marriage. I moved out. I was on my own. I was never been on my own in that same way. So many things going on. But the voice within said, you have to create this by December 21st. And so that night, it took 3 days in a row. I created my first website. That was me stepping out in so many ways. I was petrified to even do it. But I did it with a friend of mine at the point. She was a partner with me at the time, and she created the website. And life brings people together just at the right time. And the website was called the Transformation Initiative. Well, what I realized was that fractal moment, that suffering I was going through, that dark night of the soul, all the things that were coming through in that moment was a fractal component of what's going on now. But I'm not in the same place. So I'm handling it differently. And it's led me to just what we're doing today. That alignment was the moving into the out of the comfort zone of the world we knew. Everybody thought it was the end of time, right? And everyone was perceiving the Mayan calendar as the end of time, and what that calendar actually said, what the Mayan mythology said, is no, it's not the end of time. It's the end of time as we know it. It's the end of three-dimensional time. We're no longer in a three-dimensional space. Now, that has implications, which we'll discuss as we go forward, right? That means my thinking has to change. The feelings I have, everything has to change to accommodate a higher dimension of reality. Another simple way of saying that is, what music do you have to bring forth? What genius is seeking to come forth? And what has to be let go of in order to get there? So here's the frame of our current reality. You show me your frame, I'll show you my frame. We're all in a frame which is based on perception, experience, but the frame I'm in, if it's restricting me in some way, shape, or form, and that restriction comes from within. That's the truth. It might appear to come from without, but the deeper truth is it's always within me. And the challenges that are pushing on me is my polarity that I can push back on in order to gain the strength to break through the frame. So the frame of your starting point is what we're going to work with today a bit. And then this ladder is the process. This is the journey. And as we go forward, you'll see that ladder is where we are right now. The frame of my struggle is not my truth. That's why it's a struggle. So the ladder is the process. And that's what this 7 weeks will be about, is taking the steps on that ladder. Now, you can say that ladder is for the fourth dimension, which is time. We're in it. The world is in it. That's where the earth went through. She's going through her ascension or her evolutionary process. And there are phrases that I'm hearing more today that are coming through the collective in so many different ways. The fifth dimension, the new world, the new earth, the new golden age, return to paradise, that the struggle that America is in is America's transformation. It doesn't look that way. And the cleanse is not about America. It's about me and you. And right now, it's about this group that just came together today, and realizing that as I take my hero's journey, the impact of that into the world is very significant. And so this is, I believe this is the heart and the soul behind this experience together, and going through something like this in a very simple way together. So welcome to the Great American Detox. And I will come back to stop share. And here we are.
I think the one thing that I would add to that is we're all looking for something different, but I would suggest that it's not change as much as it is remembrance. It's like remembering before all these other layers of what you were taught, what you absorbed, what has been imprinted upon you, the lies that we know that we tell ourselves and the world that is full of misrepresentations. So what I would tell you is as those layers come away and you get back to like your core, I always think of it like your 8-year-old self, where like you're autonomous, your mind is clean, your ideas are undiluted. It's so much more about remembering your own, like Lenny said, your own genius, more than thinking that you have to create something out of scratch. You already are it. You just need to remember that, rather than put another layer of something that isn't your core. Just it's like letting the core out.
Yes. Key point in the difference between education. Dennis, you mentioned the years of education as an educator. I know the teachers that taught me were the mentors that touched my heart, where what I remembered wasn't the information, it was the experience I had with them and how they saw me, because I wasn't a great student. So remembering is a different educational process. It's an initiation process. And so this container and the way we've set it up is, and you'll see when we move into the attunement, at some point, it's to go within and to listen to the voice within in a way that blocks out not just the cacophony outside of me, but the voices in me that were established in the old agreements, starting with mom and dad, or whoever, or what the world is saying. So these are the key themes that are guiding us, and we'll each have a chance to speak to this, which I think now is a good to
Yeah,
open
so
up.
backing up from the state of sovereignty, which is really kind of extreme ownership of yourself in your best, most pure way, I want to go back to kind of the frame that we're in now, because unless we're really aware of what may be stopping us or what we've subconsciously kind of packed away, this is certainly the case for me, is like having the courage to shine the light on that to see where you're starting from so you can see the path forward and where you're going. So I'm going to state 4 questions, and I'm not going to ask you to answer all of them, and I'll read them a couple of times. Pay attention to the one that hits you, and then that's the one you could select to answer, because I think that, you know, there's all different perspectives of how we see things, and there might be one that resonates with you more. So I'm going to read out the questions and then I'll read them again. So one of them is, what feels painful or stuck? What don't you want? What is keeping you stuck in your current frame? And what are you doing now that is unsustainable? You don't want to carry it forward. And I'll say those one more time. What don't you want? What feels painful or stuck to live in now? What keeps you in this current frame? And what is unsustainable to move forward with?
I have a process change and a suggestion. We were going to use the breakout room here. Let's not do that. Take 2 minutes on your own. We'll give you 2 minutes. We'll all take 2 minutes. And Rebecca, you can even put that music on again.
Yep.
And you don't have to, like as Rebecca said, just get the point. Get to the point. You don't have to hold the whole spear. just get to the heart of it, and then see what you come back with, and then we'll have a group share. I trust you have a piece of paper and pen. If you don't, then just use the whiteboard of your own consciousness.
There's something happening here. There's something happening here. There's something happening here.
Okay, so it's only 2 minutes, and you'll have plenty of space through the day, tomorrow, and then through this process, because the way that we perceived it is it's an ongoing process. So there will be an evolution of thought, which can lead to any one of those questions and the feeling. You might say, "Oh, I'm not sure what's unattainable right now," or "I'm very sure what it is," and then it could shift, or you know, your consciousness will change as resistance comes forward. And sometimes that resistance is not seen until you really start to step into it. So what we're going to do now is open the floor to check in with whatever and share whatever you want to disclose, or just could be the process, could be something specific. It's all safe here. And what we didn't say it, but there is a an agreement for confidentiality here. So we don't share what someone else is saying outside of this container. And so we are starting with trust and we'll develop a deeper trust as we go. So the floor is open.
Sure, I'll kick off. Of Rebecca's 4 questions, the one that jumped out at me the most was what are you doing now that is unsustainable? Like that was the one that probably reflected by far out of the other three. I didn't really resonate with the other three. As far as my answer, I'd say, a couple of things like, well, one is this belief of what has happened in the past is predictive of the future. So I think that like lends into a lot of self-doubt that I've had in the past about myself. And just again, that belief of what has happened to me in the future, I have to understand is not reflective of who I am. Like there's things that are circumstantial. And I think what Rebecca said about um carving out to the past, like your 8-year-old self, there's a lot of that 8-year-old self that I want to tap back into as far as um that 8-year-old self didn't have self-doubt, had all the confidence in the world, looked at things with open eyes and tons of opportunity. And I think as you get older and life throws itself at you, sometimes you kind of go back and you kind of have that moment of self-doubt because again, things that have happened to you in the past you feel like are going to be predictive of the future. Like your life is always going to end up like that. And so like for this process, I'm trying to shed that, go back to that 8-year-old form. Especially I said at the beginning of the call that I have a starting a new job next week. And so for me, this is like that daily ritual to shed that to shed that kind of negativity that I feel because it is unsustainable. Like the way that you have like these negative thought loops and things of that nature, which we all do, it's exhausting. So just try to like shed that, be really intentional in this practice and yeah, like I said, like really try to kind of just understand who that younger version of myself is and that I really liked and tap back into that as I, start this new chapter in my life.
Thank you.
Oh, brother.
I'll go next after Mike. Yeah, I think piggybacking off of the 8-year-old self and just having the freedom to be fearless and not overthink anything. When you're 8, you just exist and you're having fun and you're free. So I think the whole point of this detox is to get to that sovereignty and freedom, right? So I think too, I mean, I answered all of Rebecca's questions. Most of my answers for what feels painful and stuck is emotions, anxiety, kind of just still an overwhelm that I'm breaking out of. And that can manifest as physical pain, right? I've had a lot of that from past injuries. And like Mike was saying, we get stuck in old sort of fear loops, and that's what can keep me stuck in the frame. To answer Rebecca's question, it's looping thoughts and maybe old stagnant emotions and physical symptoms, right? And then we want to break free from that as we age and grow. And I think what's not sustainable for me is being hard on myself mentally. I have to treat myself with kindness and constantly remind myself of that and give myself grace. Yeah.
Thank you.
Pardon me, Rebecca, what were the first two again?
What you don't want and what feels painful or really stuck.
Right. Thank you.
Sure.
So question 4 resonated with me as to what I'm doing that is not sustainable or unsustainable. And that actually has to do with this escapism aspect of me, that when I reach into like my own intuition and that source line, that it's easy to either bring in doubts, or especially around the mystical, to really question like the visions and really ground the visions into reality, because I spent so much of my life between worlds. And so it's part of like building a muscle of trusting my intuition, but then also anchoring it and not staying in that multidimensional realm so much. So part of what's unsustainable for me right now is there's a bit of a lack of confidence around how I'm delivering what I'm seeing and bringing that to the world through my offerings, through how I help people, or even in my writings, and really just building that practice of confidence and trust in my own intuition and like my source line to deliver stuff more accurately, because it can get scattered easily otherwise. And then that is actually connected to the disassociation. So there's this aspect of me since childhood, and my 6-year-old's coming in here a lot, that was super tuned into the spirit world, but she would easily just disassociate into dream world, or disassociate into other streams of consciousness, other ideas, entertainment. So refining that where it's appropriate, at times to be entertained, and it's appropriate at times to like kind of step out of the mysticism and into like the real world, but finding the balance between the two and being able to balance it with confidence and grace and ease, without spending like sometimes half a day in disassociation, or and maybe not completely trusting, and then having later regretting, oh, why didn't I record that, or why didn't I implement that? And there's just like all these layers to it around building that muscle, and also focusing like the precision of it. So yeah, the unsustainable is not the lack of trust within, also the lack of stepping beyond the threshold of what's comfortable, because it's very easy to stay comfortable in a certain pattern, but realizing this isn't going to benefit me long term. And so pushing myself beyond the threshold, also deeper trust and sharper focus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
I think you used the word fractal before, and I think that's perfect, because what I'm hearing, it's kind of like the insect eye, where you have the same image, but it's coming in through in slightly different perspectives. Because the question that resonated most with me was the third one. What's keeping you stuck? More more along the lines of, how do I fix it? Like, how do I actually get through that? But what I'm hearing is stuff that resonates with me. Like everybody that's spoken so far. I was a history teacher, and one of the things, when Megan, you were just talking about being in different states. When I was teaching, one of the things I used to try to get across to kids is you had to use your imagination to appreciate history better, because you're talking about human beings in different periods and times, and you do begin to get a sense that you're slipping between worlds, almost that you're inhabiting different perspectives. And there's a great strength in that, but there's also a certain amount of inertia that develops because of it, in that doing that in your mind almost takes the place of action. It can become almost like, well, your intention is enough rather than an actual result. That it gets confused, I think, is one of the things that I would notice, and I think that helps me maybe come across to the third question. As I said, that's the one that resonated the most. All of them did to a degree, but um, I'm finding it interesting that I'm seeing things that were in my head coming out of other people's mouths, because it's uh, it's interesting how you can look at one question and come to almost a similar expression.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. I'm going to interject something here. Be aware of the I statement and the we statement. We'll start to tighten up as we go. meaning when I say, we've all been in that place. There's a truth to that. When I say I have been stuck for the last 3 weeks, the last 3 years, I feel this pain. I, when I use the I statement, and I understand the relationship between the I that is we and the we that is I. So today we've got that latitude. As we move on, the clearer I can make I statements, the deeper this work will go. Mhm. And that's one of the challenges. But I love what everyone's saying, and you're right, Dennis. I hear it. It's always been that way. It's, one person's work is everyone's work at some level. So, who would like to speak next?
So I'll go next. So the fourth question, that was what is not sustainable. So when I heard that, the first thing that came to me immediately was staying idle. Um, and basically, staying idle, like I feel like I don't want to get too comfortable or allow myself to get lazy. I feel like I have to not necessarily go to the extreme polarity, but I got to keep pushing things, if I want to go where I want to go. And then as a couple other people spoke and I asked myself that question again, I also got that what came in was my inner chaos that I have been becoming more aware of, that I'm realizing that is going on like a tape inside of me, in my, I guess, my nervous system, or inside of me in some way, some sort of, I describe it as an inner chaos, and that's not sustainable. Um, yeah, those are two things that came up to me, and as I say that, it's like, I say staying idle and then the inner chaos. Maybe I'm like stagnant or idle in that inner chaos, you know? Um, I'm really not really sure what to say about that, but that's what came up, so I wanted to speak it out, and then I'm gonna work with that, feel into that. But that's what came up for me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah.
So I can share. It was definitely three. What keeps me in my current frame? So it's fear, right? And the aspects of fear that keep me in my current frame are current comfort and the first step off the ledge. Do I have it in me to catch myself? So is it there's something in me that doesn't totally trust my own either self-reliance or self-trust. And it's kind of along the lines of where Megan brought up trusting your intuition beyond an actual three-dimensional status. What are you willing to go for and dare for versus what keeps you where you are? And that's the wrestle for me.
I just
So
want to
my,
say that as well, just back to self-trust. I didn't trust myself or my body at all up until working with Dr. Izzo. I felt like my body and mind betrayed me in every way. I was down a dark path of distrust and being stuck in that chaos. And yeah, so trust is the big word for, I think, everybody here.
Mhm. So briefly, my process today, and moving into today, very similar to so many things everyone said. I'll whittle it down, and I'm still carving out the those inner intentions to get to that final product. But it's self-doubt, and in my profession, people would think, well, how could you have self-doubt? You always have so much confidence in what you do. Um, it's self-doubt. I have plenty of confidence in what I've developed over decades, but the next step is the self-doubt. And the self-doubt for me is connected to space, creating the space for myself to actually be in touch with that level that will bring confidence. But then here is the pathway. It's not just self-doubt and it's not just confidence. It's the action step that's got to be different than what I'm doing. It's got to come into action differently. And the pressure for me to act today is greater than ever before, to take action on what I I believe in, right? And that's led to this group in certain ways, um, led to Rebecca and I being together, leads to new experience to get out of the comfort. But it never, I realize it never changes. And today, my belief is that whatever I'm procrastinating with is having that impact in my world beyond me. And so there's the pressure, whether that's true or not, that's how I perceive it. I need to take this step because I'm holding something back, whether it be my ancestors or my future grandchildren. I've got to take certain steps that I haven't yet taken. And that's moving out of comfort for sure. So Ray, did you want, I don't even know if you can still hear me. Oh, there's Carol. Carol, can you hear me? Can you, we can't hear you. No, no voice. Okay. Well, I know you're getting, right? Just, yep, we'll just keep
Taking
going.
it in.
So here's the next step. And we're going to now take 2 minutes. And what is the secret sauce you need? What's the power you require to change what you just identified? What is the remedy? That which is in you when you bring it forth. Here's the Gnostic scripture. That which is in you when I bring it forth, that which is in me when I bring it forth. And it's speaking about whatever the procrastination that's behind it. It's what the self-doubt, what's behind that? What's behind it? It's that child that Mike was talking about. It's that some of us were talking about. That's what I've lost touch with, that innocence. But I've lost touch with that and the trust to such a degree that I'll do whatever it takes. It's that energy, whatever it takes. It's getting in touch with whatever it takes. That's that 12-year-old. That's that 8-year-old. That's that unabashed expression, whatever it takes. So, what is it that you perceive will bring you to that? What does it sound like? Distill it into a word. Get to that power. Whatever it takes, I'll do it. And see what comes through. Take 2 minutes. Be in touch. Get in touch. And then we'll come back together. Okay. I'm back. Anyone can share either the process or the product that came through. And 2 minutes is not a lot of time. You'll have 7 weeks to dive deep into these questions and more.
I can go. I think for me, a big one is faith, trust, renewal of the mind, power of the mind, positive thinking, breathing for a calmer nervous system, and just repetition of these positive thoughts and daily practices to keep me aligned and on a path forward versus getting stuck going backwards, right?
Thank you.
So that's the emergence of power, which is going to be translated right into distilling out 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, say up to 4, 2 to 4, even if you start with 1.
When you said trust a minute ago, that really, I think, is a very core concept, because it's not just trust in yourself. In a way, it's almost trust in the universe too, like the circumstances that surround us, and the because we're not completely sovereign in the sense of like everything that in the world is under our control. Um, when you go through life, one of the things I think Mike said before about the past determining the present or determining the future, there's a certain inevitability to that feeling because of experience. We all go through experiences. You're a little kid, you touch a stove, you burn your hand, you know enough not to do that again. That's on a very basic level, but I think when we're talking about trust, we're talking about what you have, like if you can trust that the things that are going to occur are going to be good, or are going to be beneficial. One of the things I was thinking about before when you were talking about genius inside people. Now, this is me being a history teacher, and this is what I do all the time. I connect things wildly across lines. That's a Greek concept of like your soul and who you are. You know what the word is? It's demon.
Damon.
Damon.
Yeah, daemon. That's the concept of soul, and genius is part of it too. And then you go into into Arabic, genie, genius, spirits. There's a concept there that it's not necessarily always good. So there has to be a trust that the circumstances that you're going to unleash are positive, and they're not negative forces. And then the second thing is when you said repetition, that I think is a very big key, because it becomes a habit. You have to form habits. It's almost like Lenny used to always talk about warrior energy and stuff like that. It's like when people used to train at arms. When men used to go out and like use swords to just to practice with and stuff. And obviously that we're not talking about that, but there is a certain amount of practice in your intent, like even what we're doing here. I've been doing a lot of guided meditation stuff. Mostly, I'm a Catholic. Lent was just going on and stuff, so I was going through all of that. And there's a discipline, a ritual, an intent, a habit. That's the point of all of those things.
Dennis, I don't want to interrupt you, but I am going to break in. Distill out 1 word that encapsulates the power needed based on going forward to break free, whatever. 1 word.
The one that would come, I think, is intent. Because I think that covers both the control of the power that you have within, and also the practice of how you access it and manifest it.
Great.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so when I sat to hear the word, the first thing that came to me, it unraveled in a couple of steps. The first thing I heard was strategy, and then I heard surrender, and then I heard divine purpose. That went on too, because I kept digging deeper. I was like, okay, what's deeper? Divine mission. And I was like, okay, there's more behind that. And then I heard divine ceremony.
Mm.
So to me, it's an act of ceremony, not just within my blood, but within my soul lineage and yeah, disciplining into the power needed to going forward as ceremony.
Thank you.
Thank you. We all go?
Okay, so I had a few different appetizers on the menu coming down. I had confidence first came to me, and then faith, and then I said, oh, courage. I need courage, man. I need courage. And then when I went to another level, I got to acceptance, like self-acceptance, self-love. So that's more than one word, but it's really the acceptance of myself, like accepting myself, all the shadow, the dark parts, quote unquote, or the parts that I'm not crazy about, and then also accepting um, my gifts and what I have that I may have not been accepting. So it's really acceptance for me,
Mhm.
and that's self-acceptance. Yeah, self-acceptance.
So I know, Carol, you can hear us, right? Yes, but we can't hear you, but you're right. You're right there. So,
Well,
Dennis, you mentioned intention. Did everyone go?
mm-mm.
Who didn't go?
I'll go quick. Yeah, yeah, I think Dylan and I are on the same page. I came across a lot of those words, and I liked what he said about because I feel it too, like about breaking out of my comfort zone. So like my process moving forward, I don't know. And that's what this whole, that's what this is all about, figuring that out. But for me, I know I'm going to do more, try to think less, try to be like less self-conscious, have trust in myself and also lean into faith a lot more, and acceptance for sure. So yeah, a lot of similar words like being centered, being disciplined. I think like grounding myself to discipline, like being very disciplined is really is how I work, is how I function. Like that's how I get the best sense of myself when I'm really disciplined, and that's why I think the idea of creating a ritual for myself is helpful, even if it's something so small like what we're doing with water, or like making your bed in the morning. Like those small little rituals ultimately lead to something, lead to just better, more disciplined actions on a larger scale. But really leaning into kind of faith and trust again that everybody's been talking about.
Thank you. Well, mine hit me like a brick. And it was first I thought of warrior, but not sword drawn warrior, more like iron will warrior, that I will not stand down. So then like lion heart came to me. So warrior with a heart, but that my will is my power and I will not take one step back. Only even if it's a tiny step forward, I will take a tiny step forward with every sip and every action.
Beautiful. Yeah, there's a fullness right here that I know I feel of of content that's coming through now.
Mm.
So the power word is distilling down what is that action component, right? What will be the word that connects to the whole unraveling of the new story? All I need is that one word. because we're connecting the threads of that story. And that one word, whether it's trust, it could be trust self, power, action, vision, intention. What about intention? What would you do with intention? The intention is whatever I put on the bottle, that's what I'm intending to get me up that ladder. And the magic of this is that whenever I sip that 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, or 4 words, you put as many as you want or as little as you want. Could be that 1 word to start it tomorrow. The sipping of it is the ceremony, Megan. The sipping of it is the continuity. It's doing the reps. Me going into the gymnasium of my own consciousness and doing the reps. And when I'm sipping it, my cells are hearing that vibrationally, feeling that. And we'll show you that in the next slideshow we give, probably on Wednesday night, but we're going to put things on the Facebook page. So it's putting it into a word, whatever your secret sauce is, that's going to move that demon to the daemon, the demon self to the daemon self. Going to move me out of the frame I'm in. And you can't be wrong with this. There's no wrong or right. There's only taking the action and then sipping it. Is that clear about the process of getting yourself that water bottle if you don't have it? Not plastic, use water.
Glass.
But what you write on the glass is transmitted through the crystallization of the glass into the crystals of the water. This is what's been proven by Professor Emoto years ago. And then that's it. The cleanse is the sip.
Yeah. Well,
It's the sip.
there's one more thing. We want to give you a little bit of homework. So here's the homework. Yes, if just 1 word, even if it's a looser intention that you can focus down, you will take your sip tomorrow. Your homework is first is to take your sip. The second is to check into the Facebook group every day. Could be 1 sentence, could be, I don't want to do this. Whatever it is, 1 check-in a day. And the third thing is, same thing with a journal. It could be 1 sentence, it could be 1 word. This sucks. I'm annoyed. Life changing. But give it to yourself a couple of sentences every single day as part of this ritual. And that's where really what you're doing is now in between our meetings, you're not just getting reinvigorated when we're together. You're keeping that fire stoked yourself all along and staying engaged. And that way you're like bringing all yourselves and all your facets together. It's not just the ritual of, oh, let me sip my water because I said I do that. That's where you're reenacting all the things that we talked about today, and you'll feel the energy change too. So that is your homework.
Everybody have access to the Facebook page?
It's in the welcome letter. And I can easily add you.
Yeah. So what I would say is on the Facebook page, it could be as simple as I'm in. That carries the power. If you don't feel like writing anything, you could write something, you could video something, just bring yourself, bring the genius. And when the resistance is there, I'm in, I'm here. Don't want to say anything, I'm in. In your journal, go for it. Right? It's going to be the same thing. There's going to be resistance comes. If resistance doesn't come up, you're not in this process. It's got to come up. So we're changing the structure, and let's give everyone a chance to check out. We're at 1:23. We want to end on time. So this is an opportunity to just check out, and check out with, what are you leaving with? Not the story they're leaving with, but the essence of what you're leaving with, right? Could be a few words, could be a sentence. And then we're going to ask each of each one of us to sit still after you've checked out, right? That means, okay, we're closing this part of the container. Rebecca's going to put on some music. And then when you feel the spirit to check out of the Zoom call, just leave and realize that, and we'll work this more, that we're working between the invisible world and the visible world. And then we'll be back together on this Wednesday night. We've done the foundational work, right? If anyone new comes on the call, we'll fill them in on the spaces. So I'll model it for you. I'm checking out with gratitude. A very slight, but definitely noticeable apprehension, and a little rumbling in my gut to do what I'm speaking about. And I will get it done, and I'm out.
I think gratitude's a great word, and that was what I was thinking about before you even said it, Lenny. And I think what goes hand in hand with that too is uh, two things: humility, in the sense that not in an overly demeaning sense, but in an awareness of fitting in, of having your mind fit into other spaces, and to listen and to be affected by some pretty wise words. And second word that goes with that is hope, because there's always with that comes the sense that you are turning a corner and there's going to be change, because we all started this with questions about what do we want to, what can't we sustain, what don't we want to see continue, and that's when I said intention before, that's the core of it, but it does lack the action part of it, and the hope is that the action follows the intent.
I'll jump in. I'm checking out with, I suppose, curiosity of the unknown of this journey. Checking out with certainly a lot of hope, as Dennis just said, and I suppose a lot of gratitude for this call, for everybody's kind of sharing and vulnerability. I feel like it's yeah, it's very comforting. Thank you.
I can share. I'm definitely feeling more open, I'd say, than I was in the beginning. Like we were talking about resistance of it's just an unknown experience. So I definitely feel very open, a stronger sense of power, determined, and excited.
I'm checking out with a sense of gratitude and a sense of curiosity.
I'm checking out with a sense of inspiration and also the undercurrent of fearlessness. But I can tell, like, deep under there is still a subtle whisper of anxiousness. So I'm going to keep evaluating that. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. I'm checking out feeling super excited. My heart is pounding in like a good, positive way. This was like very invigorating, and deeply grateful. And I'm out.
Carol, I invite you to check out, even though we can't hear you, we'll get the vibration of it. Actually say it. What are you walking away with? And number three. Good work, Kayla.
Thank you. This was so fun. Are we staying on or are we? Bye.
That was fucking awesome. It was great.
I'm going to stop recording.